Welcome back to another edition of the Gadget Lab Podcast. I am Michael Calori.
I am Mike Isaac.
I am. Last week we smoked a lot of e-tobacco and giggled a lot. This week we're going to start off talking about APIs on mobile devices and what they mean for user privacy.
Quite almost as crazy as the wacky e-tobacco.
Yeah, maybe the exact opposite. Right. But halfway through the show, we are going to do a product giveaway.
So stay tuned.
Yes, stay tuned. It's a fancy product, an expensive fancy product that you can win. And we're going to bring Christina on to talk about iPad rumors. iPad 3. First up, though, is the story of Path.
Yeah.
Mike, why don't you tell us what happened?
I will talk about it. So Path, I mean, it sounds like a little weird, right? You know, there's all these
social photo sharing app, right? For those of you who don't know.
Yeah, Path is think of Instagram meets Foursquare meets Facebook meets. It sort of takes all of these social apps and brings it into one place, right? They relaunched in I believe late last year, which we wrote about, and they sort of redid their whole app. They made it really attractive. They just won an award for their design.
It is very pretty.
It's an elegant app, is what they say. So it was doing great, you know, and it got a lot of great attention. And then earlier this week, it was discovered by some random developer out there in the ether that Path is actually pulling your address book information from your iPhones, not on Android, but on your iPhone, and uploading it to their servers.
Uh-oh.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
So you went and talked to the CEO about this,
yeah,
right?
so we got an exclusive interview with Dave Moran, who's the CEO of Path, and he basically laid it all out for us. They did a big blog post too that the headline was, "We're sorry, we made a mistake, we screwed up," right?
So they made a mistake by actively making their application grab all of my data from my address book, so they know the phone numbers and the email addresses of everybody that I know.
Right.
And they pulled it into their server and they hold on to it, and whoopsie, that was a mistake.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Do you buy it?
Yeah, exactly. That was the first thing I asked him is like, if you know, you guys are a multi-million-dollar outfit who with very smart people who know what they're doing. How is this a mistake? You know, how did this happen? Part of it, what he told me, what Dave told me, was that some of the features that are integrated into Path, like this thing they called Friend Rank, requires the use of your address book data. So they're able to suggest the top friends that you want to connect with on Path based on this data inside of your address book.
Doesn't matter.
Right. I mean, this
doesn't matter.
This is don't shoot the messenger. This is what I've been told.
This is what I really want to talk about is the wider implications of this,
Okay.
the context in which this controversy exists.
That's more interesting.
Which is that if something like this, which many people, not everybody, many people would consider a gross invasion of one's privacy, features like this that rely on address book data should be opt-in.
Right.
So
that was the biggest sort of complaint. Like, okay, at least put it to us up front whether or not we have to share this information.
Yeah, this wants full access to your address book data. Is this okay? Yes or no?
Exactly.
On install, when you turn that feature on, it's off by default. You know, there are many different ways to handle it. Are there other apps that are guilty of doing the same thing?
Yeah, totally. This was the other point that that many have made out there. Facebook did this 2 years ago. Facebook is no stranger to privacy issues. Some random CEO of this app called Hipster, which is like the dumbest name for an app I've ever heard of. Just
hey now,
but
I can think of dumber ones.
Says the guy with tattoos and plaid shirts. They also apologized. They apparently were doing this too. And it seems like a lot of them are kind of like, whoops, we are doing this. But I have a hard time buying that this is all just like a big mistake, right? I think what the issue really is that part of it is that Apple doesn't, in strict language, require this of developers when they're creating their apps, require you to ask for an opt-in policy as far as pulling address data, right?
So this is probably all going to change now.
Right.
I mean, I would guess. I would hope so.
Right.
The Paths and the Facebooks and the Hipsters of the world are going to be forced to be a lot more forthcoming about exactly what they're collecting, what they're doing with it.
Yeah.
But we didn't mean any ill will excuse is probably not going to fly anymore.
Right.
because everybody's sort of learned their lesson by watching Path grow up in public.
Yeah.
And maybe Apple will make changes to its ecosystem inside the phone and the APIs that developers use to require that sort of data gathering to be opt-in.
Yeah, I mean, and Android already has this sort of security built into it, actually. You're required, I think in the sandboxing techniques, you're required to ask for permission if you want to access this sort of data. So maybe this will push iOS into doing the same thing.
Yeah, the way I look like it, if you're going to walk up and touch a stranger, you should probably ask, right?
You're supposed to ask?
Yeah, okay, anyway.
Yeah.
Now we're going to give away something really fun and exciting.
Ooh, what is it?
It's an iPhone case.
Really? That's what we're giving away. You made people sit through Path for 5 minutes for an iPhone case. All right.
It's actually a very cool case from a company called Element Case, and it is the brand new Vapor Pro case. It is made of machined aluminum, and it is very lightweight, and it is very sexy, it is very slim, and it is very expensive. These cases run about $80, $90, $100 in that neighborhood. You can get them from different retailers, but yeah. So basically what it is...
Yeah, what is it, like a shockproof thing? Or?
Yeah, it's a big bumper. So it's a big aluminum bumper that sits around the outside of your iPhone 4, iPhone 4S.
All right.
It has little holes to expose the, the different ports, the buttons, the switches, and it also has this handy little plastic piece that fits over the gap in the antenna. So it eliminates death grip problems.
The antenna gate deal.
Yeah,
okay.
the death grip, I prefer to call it. I'm rocking sort of the bumper look right now. It also comes with a small plate that you can put in the back so you can have protection on the back to protect it from scratches.
Right.
It also comes with a really nice rugged screen cover to protect against scratches on the screen. It's easily the nicest screen cover that I've used, although I took it off pretty soon after testing it. Yeah. And it comes with a sort of hardened shell case for carrying around your phone for added protection when you're in transit.
Okay.
Now, all of this adds up to, like I said, around $100, a little less than $100 depending on where you get it. A little more than $100 outside of the country. Made in the United States. But I will say that I'm not really a big fan of cases. I went caseless for a very long time. There's a couple of in cases that I like that are really slim, that offer a little bit of protection on the phone. But in general, I feel like cases add too much bulk when they're in your pocket.
Right.
This one adds bulk, so I'm probably not going to keep it on the phone. But it does provide outstanding protection. I put it on my girlfriend's phone this weekend, and we went to the bar, and she dropped her phone 3 times, and it was unscathed.
Jesus. How long were you there?
Oh, I don't know, like 8 hours or something. I don't remember.
God.
It's all a blur.
Nice.
Anyway, if you'd like to win one of these Vapor cases, we're not giving away this white one because it's been used already and it's kind of dinged up. But we are giving away a brand new, untouched, unworn Black Ops case, which is black with sort of a yellow death grip protector.
Yeah.
And to win it, all you have to do is hit us up on Twitter, @Gadget Lab.
Yeah, @Gadget Lab.
And tell us what Mike Isaac should get tattooed on his head. Now, Mike has a lot of tattoos, and he just got a few new ones this weekend, which he's not going to show you right now.
I can't show you them legally. FCC. Really.
Or producers veto.
Exactly.
So the winner, Mike, will either get the thing that you suggest tattooed somewhere on his head, or he will choose to send you the Vapor Pro case.
Right. It's up to you.
No, it's up to you.
Oh yeah, it's up to me.
It's up to you.
Yeah,
so either you get
a better idea.
You get a new tattoo, or the person gets a case. So either way, you win.
Exactly.
And in either way, I don't know. We all win, right? We all win.
Just suggest what you think would be good, and then I will choose it. @Gadget Lab, reply to us.
Yes, @Gadget Lab on the Twitter.
Yeah.
So now we're going to bring on Christina, and we're going to talk about iPad 3. Hey, I have a question.
Yes.
What's cooler than the iPad 2?
It's got to be the iPad 3.
Oh, is there an iPad 3 now?
Not yet, but there's parts maybe of an iPad 3. So this week we saw leaked images of the rear casing of what could be the iPad 3.
Where do these come from? China?
Yeah, insiders in the supply chain.
Twit pics?
Yeah. Yeah, but so looks like the iPad 3 could look very much like the iPad 2, maybe with a slightly larger battery, a different processor, different camera, basically souped up inside specs.
So one of the rumors that I was reading about was that there's going to be an updated version of the display, right?
Yes.
So sharper, higher resolution?
Yeah, possibly Retina display quality.
Okay. Now it's not HD now, right? So it's possible that we could get an HD version? Or?
Yes, yeah, and so some people are actually debating whether this is going to be like the iPad 3 or the iPad HD or some other name, you know.
How about the iPad 2S?
That's what I was thinking too, or maybe it could be like the iPad
Were you
2
really
HD
thinking that?
plus Max.
Were you really
Super-
thinking that, the 2S?
Maybe so, I don't know.
Sorry, I just think that would be bad.
It would be bad.
Maybe like the XL or something. Anyway, so the other thing I'm looking forward to is possibly a price drop.
Ooh.
Because of everything that's happened in the last year with the Kindle Fire and with the Nook tablet and all the other $200 devices coming out. Now, do you think Apple's in a position where they just say, to hell with it, we're just going to leave it at $500, or do you think they're really feeling pressure to maybe drop the price down?
I think they're totally at liberty to keep it the same price because people are going to buy it for that price. But they could maybe lower the price of the iPad 2 down to maybe like half price or $100 off or something.
$300 or $400.
Yeah. So I think if they're going to make a cheap iPad, they're just going to drop the price of the iPad 2.
What about educational pricing?
That's a good question. I mean, they are pushing the iPad for education, especially with the whole like iBooks announcements. I think maybe it'll just be priced down iPad 2s rather than a cheaper iPad 3, 2S, 2XL.
Well, either way, I'm going to line up for one.
Yeah, and might
Not
be
really.
coming. It might be coming as soon as the first week of March.
I believe it because it would make sense for them to do the pop-up store at South by Southwest Interactive, which
Yeah.
starts, I think, on the 9th or the 8th of March.
Yeah, and that's around the time that they've announced it the past 2 years. So
Well, I'll be in Texas, so I know what I'll be writing about that week.
the iPad 3.
Yeah, I'll be writing about Apple's pop-up store where everybody's going to be lining up and buying their iPad. So if you're there, say hi. You know what I look like. That's all for this week. Next week, we can't promise that we're going to bring you 3 stories related to Apple products, but the way things have been going,